Hello everyone, very good morning to this session paragraph summary revision for 26 November. My apologies, a little late today. Um, just a moment, I'll just see if I'm online. So, very good morning to all of you. My name is Anupam, and this is all what I've achieved. So, what about Unacademy subscription? What do people think about it? I think Unacademy subscription is please download and install Unacademy app. Please subscribe to Unacademy for the people who are writing CAT this year. I think 3 months or 6 months plan makes more sense for the people who are writing CAT next year, 2021. I think 24 months plan makes more sense because it is only by next year sometime that you will be only going to write CAT. Next year you'll write CAT, but the entire process will get over by 2022 March, April, I think. So I think it makes more sense for you people to take 24-month subscription, 875 rupees per month, and it'll come down to 18,900 after using the code Saxena Live as a discount. So no cost EMI options are also available on 6, 12 and 24 month subscription. And so this is how it works. And now what I'm trying to say here is that why Unacademy subscription is amazing. It is amazing because the pool of faculty which we have right now, the kind of technological progress or technologically the kind of resources and the kind of products and the kind of features we have in place. I doubt really that whether other players in the online teaching field are they able to do all this or not. So this is a big question. Another issue which I would like to say is ki the another thing which I would like to say is ki extremely important is because ki so many topic wise tests, mock test, sectional test, uh, they are also present. Uh, they are also present in the in your profile if you subscribe. And these topic wise say sectional test, mock test, they are an amazing they're extremely important if you want to excel in CAT anytime, because this is how you're going to improve your scores. So apart from that, we have a lot of free features. We have free special classes and quizzes which you would like to take, I think. And I think it's amazingly important. A distinguishing feature of language. So how do we manage para summary? Para summary are managed by writing one's own summary, looking for bad options. So when you write one's own summary or the purpose of the paragraph given, you understand what are the key aspects which can be mentioned in the correct option. Which of the options will be wrong? The options will be wrong which will be talking about something which is not, which so a bad option will be an option which will talk about something which has never been mentioned, will talk about something which is against or contrary to the ideas given in the passage. At the same time, it can contain it can contain half correct, half correct, and half incorrect stories or the ideas which are mentioned in the paragraph. It can also contain something which is which may sound correct but it is incorrect, because they may use the words which typical words which have been used in the they may use the exact words which have been used in the paragraph, but they may not use they may not write it properly. They may not yeah. So this is how it will be. So they may not convey the right answer. They may not convey the right intent, but they may talk about things which are not correct, which are not related to the passage, to the paragraph, but they may use certain terms, certain words which have been used in the paragraph to sort of to bluff you into believing that it is the right option, that it is the right option which has been mentioned. So please, when you're reading, when you're trying to solve para-summary question, please try and see that you understand the purpose of, or the main theme of the paragraph, and then when you come to start solving it, you also realize okay, which of these this is having some information which is against the idea mentioned, something extra, something not relevant. A distinguishing feature of the language is our ability to refer to absent things, also known as displaced reference. This is a para-summary actual question. So they're saying that an important feature of a language is to refer to things which are not present, absent. Let's see if this is what they're talking about. A speaker can bring distinct reference to mind in absence of obvious stimuli. Again, it is talking about things which are absent. Though not limited to here and now, can pop thoughts not limited to here and now, can pop into our heads for unfathomable reasons. The thoughts not limited to here and now. So now it is talking about the thoughts can come for unfathomable. What is unfathomable? Unfathomable means for reasons which you cannot understand, for reasons which something which you cannot completely explain. This ability to think about distinct things necessarily precedes the ability to talk about them. They're saying that this ability to think about distinct things necessarily precedes the ability to talk about them. Now they're talking that ability to think about distant objects, it precedes the ability to talk about them. Thought precedes meaningful referential communication. A prerequisite for the emergence of human-like meaningful symbols is that the mental categories they relate to can be evoked even in the absence of immediate stimuli. Again, talking about things which are distant things and referring to communication which is referential in nature. right? So the entire story is revolving around what? The human ability to refer to things which are not present, to refer to sort of talk in a referential manner, to to refer to absent things, to bring to the mind certain abstracts which are an absence of any obvious stimuli. This is how it is. So let's look for, so this is the purpose of this piece is to inform the audience, is to inform the audience, the reader, that there is a there's a feature, this feature which is present. It's an important feature of language, and they don't say that it's only ours, but they say that it's an important feature of language. This is what they're trying to say, and is our ability. So and purpose of this piece is to refer to explain to the reader and the audience that humans have this capacity of talking about things, of referring to things which are not present in front of us, which are absent. That is what it is here referring to. Thoughts precede all speech acts, and these thoughts pop up into our heads even in the absence of any stimuli. Okay, so thoughts precedes all speech acts, and saying thought precedes all speech, this was never mentioned, right? Thoughts precedes all speech act. This was never mentioned. And thoughts pop in our head in absence of any stimuli. This was mentioned here. So that is correct. This was mentioned that thoughts can pop up for any in absence of any stimuli, or they pop into our heads for any reason. This is correct, but this is wrong, because they never said that thought precedes all speech act. What it said was key thought precedes meaningful referential communication. Displaced reference is particular to humans, and thoughts pop into our heads for no real reason. Saying that it is particular to humans this was never mentioned. And thoughts pop into our heads for no reason. This was also mentioned. Thoughts are essential to communication, and only humans have ability to think about objects not present in their. They're saying that thoughts are essential to communication, and only humans have ability to think about objects not present in the sense. I think thoughts are essential to communications, and now this was also never mentioned that thoughts are essential to communication. This was also never mentioned, and only humans have the ability to think about objects. Also never mentioned. Now left over is your fourth option only. The ability to think about objects not present in our environment precedes the development of human communication. This is what they were saying time and again. That thought precedes meaningful referential communication. This ability to think about distinct things necessarily precedes the ability to talk about them in the absence of any obvious stimuli. Ability to refer to absent things. Fourth one is the right answer. One, why? Because one that we have eliminated, 1, 2, 3, and one also that fourth is your right answer. So physics is pure science. It seeks to understand the behavior of matter without regard to whether it will afford any practical benefit. Engineering is a correlative applied science in which physical theories are put to some specific use, such as building a bridge or nuclear reactor. Engineers obviously rely heavily on the discoveries of physicists, but an engineer's knowledge of the world is not the same as physicists' knowledge. So this particular case, what they're doing is they're talking about that physics is a pure science that seeks to understand the behavior of matter without regard to whether it will afford any practical benefit or not. So if you see in the previous question, they brought out some facts which were not mentioned. They twisted facts a little. The facts which were incorrect according to the passage, which could not be corroborated on the basis of the information given in the paragraph. So all this has been done. Physics is pure science. It seeks to understand the behavior of the matter without regard to whether it will afford any practical benefit. So physics they try to understand the behavior of the matter without regard it will afford any practical benefit or not. Engineering is a correlative applied science in which physical theories are put to some specific use, such as building a bridge or a nuclear they're saying that engineering is the correlative applied science in which physical theories are put to some specific use, such as building a bridge or a nuclear reactor. So now they're saying that it's a behavior, to understand the behavior of the matter, whether it will have any practical. See, physics is more of an understanding the theory part of it, the pure science standpoint. How will matter behave, whether it will have any practical benefit or not. And engineering is where these physical theories, they are put to some use, right? Such as building a bridge or a nuclear reactor. Engineers obviously rely heavily on the discoveries of a physicist, but an engineer's knowledge of the world is not the same as physicists' knowledge. So now they're saying that engineers' knowledge of the world is not same as a physicist's knowledge. In fact, an engineer's know-how will often depend on physical theories that, from the point of view of the pure physics, are false. So they're saying that an engineer's know-how will depend on physical theories, but it will be from a pure physics standpoint, it will be false, and the knowledge realm or the space, the world of knowledge in which physicists and engineer work, they might not completely overlap. A lot of things will be different. There are some reasons for this. First, theories that are false in the purest and strictest term are still sometimes very good approximations to the true ones, and often have added virtue of being much easier to work with. Second, sometimes the true theories apply only under highly idealized conditions, which can only be created under controlled experimental situation. The engineers find that in the real world, theories rejected by physicists yield more accurate predictions than the ones that they accept. So what they're saying, that there is certain amount of the true theories they work only in highly idealized conditions. They are approximations to the actual ones, and engineer finds that the theories which are rejected by the physicist, they are more accurate than the ones that they accept. This is how it is working. Abhi, let's try and the relationship between pure and applied science is strictly linked. So what is the purpose? The purpose of this paragraph is to highlight that what are the key differences when it comes to in engineering and physics, and mostly with respect to that, what is the uh, uh, why are they different, and what is the main reason that why they're different, and how uh, the usages are different, and what are the reasons behind them, the basis of it. The relationship between pure and applied science is strictly linear. Pure science directing applied science and never the other way around. This was never mentioned. So engineering draws heavily from pure science. It contributes to knowledge by incorporating constraints and conditions of the real world. So yeah, engineering draws heavily from the pure science. It contributes to knowledge by incorporating the constraints and conditions of the real world. So this is right. Let's read 3. The unique task of the engineer is to identify, understand, and interpret the design constraints to produce a successful result. So it's saying that unique task of the engineer is to identify, understand, and interpret the design constraints to produce a successful result. Now, unique task of an engineer was not mentioned here. This was not what they were talking about. They were talking about something different, which has been mentioned here. Engineering and physics fundamentally differ on matters like building a bridge or a nuclear reactor. Okay. Now this is again what we're not talking. We were talking about this, what they had mentioned here. Engineering draws heavily from pure science. It contributes to knowledge by incorporating constraints and conditions in the world and conditions in the real world. Now, what was happening here? Here they were also talking about things which are, so this is a small part of the entire story. This is something which is again a small part of the story. Right? Talking about the unique task of an engineer. We were talking about how physics and engineering, they have certain common aspects and how they're different also. And what are the reasons behind them? Okay. And the pure science directing applied science and never the other way around. Vance Packard's hidden persuaders alerted public to psycho. Now this is another cat question. Vance Packard's hidden persuaders alerted the public to the psychoanalytical techniques used by advertising industry. So they're talking about some psychoanalytical techniques which were used by advertising industry. We don't know whether this is Vance Packard did this this hidden persuaders. This is actually a this is actually something good, or hidden persuaders is actually it's a book, or it's a novel, or it's a newspaper article, or a series of articles, or a documentary, or a film. We don't know what this is, right? But they're saying that there is something which was created by Vance Packard, and the name was Hidden Persuaders, and it used psychoanalytical techniques used by it. It mentioned that psychoanalytical techniques are used by the advertising industry. Now, its premise was that the advertising industry was using depth interviews to identify hidden consumer motivations. It is saying that advertising agencies were using depth interviews to to identify hidden user consumer motivations, which were then used to entice consumers to buy goods. The critics and reporters often wrongly assume that Packard was writing mainly about subliminal advertising. So they're saying that these companies, they were conducting depth interviews to identify hidden consumers, which were then used to. So these these depth interviews, they used to understand the hidden motivation, and then it was used to lure the consumers, to attract the consumers to buy their goods, right? So if you've seen that certain products, they don't advertise themselves as it would be done otherwise, but they do a very different kind of a marketing. So there are certain products certain products are there which don't do marketing at all, but still their products sell because there is certain amount of credibility or word of mouth which they have sort of which they have been able to do. Critics and reporters often wrongly assumed that Packard was writing mainly about subliminal advertising. Packard never mentioned the word subliminal. So they're talking about that. Critics and reporters often say that Packard Packard was writing about subliminal advertising, and Packard never mentioned the word subliminal, however, and devoted very little space to discussions of the sub-threshold advertising. So now they're saying that the Vance Packard never mentioned all this. Instead, what he did was, so this entire piece, if you see their approach from here to here, they were just talking about some sort of that what kind of marketing was Vance Packard doing? What kind of a marketing did Vance Packard said was happening actually? So Vance Packard said that there are depth interviews being done, and because of those depth interviews, certain hidden the desires of customers or why they wanted to do something, that was sort of coming out, and it was used. So this was at a deeper level. Now they're talking about wrongly assumed that Packard was writing only about subliminal advertising. So when they say wrongly assumed, that means either they assume that they were at a, even if we don't understand what is the meaning of subliminal, we can understand that it will be very deep either, or it will be very shallow, because he's already saying that they were doing depth interviews and they were trying to identify the hidden consumer motivation, and then they were enticing the customers to buy. So this term doesn't matches with what actually Packard was doing according to the author. Then he did not. Then the author is saying that Packard did give very little space to the sub-threshold levels. To the sub-threshold level, this was also not done. Instead, his views largely align with the notion that individuals do not always have access to their conscious thoughts and can be persuaded by supra that views are largely aligned with the notion that individuals do not always have access to their conscious thoughts and can be persuaded by supraliminal messages without their knowledge. They saying that individuals may not have access to the conscious thoughts, and they can be persuaded by supraliminal messages without their. So that means supraliminal means at somewhere at a level in which they are not aware of, without the knowledge. They are conscious thoughts only. It's not that it is something at a very subconscious level, but it is happening they're happening in a conscious state, but it is happening at a little deep level. Is what it is. The purpose of this piece is to restate, or is to clarify as to what was Vance Packard meant when he said that there was some sort of a hidden marketing in the depth interviews were happening, and what was the entire story behind it, how they were able to do it, what and in what way Vance Packard explained it to the people in his writings, The Hidden Persuaders. The Packard held that advertising as a hidden persuasion builds on people's conscious thoughts, correct? And awareness by understanding the hidden emotion was at the subliminal level. So we said no, it never worked on the subliminal level. Wrongly assumed. So this is incorrect. Packard argued that advertising as a hidden persuasion works at supraliminal level, wherein people targeted being persuaded, where people targeted are aware of being persuaded after understanding the hidden motivations of consumer. So they're saying people were aware, targeted were aware of being persuaded. Packard argued that advertising as a hidden persuasion understands the hidden motivations of consumers and works at subliminal level. Again, they're mentioning subliminal level, which was told to be incorrect. On the subconscious level of the awareness of the people targeted. Packard held that advertising as a hidden persuasion understands. Now this is, we know that 1, 2, 3 are wrong, incorrect. So very clearly fourth one is to be our right answer. Fourth one will be our right answer. This is which is absolutely correct, right? So but still, let's read it. Packard held that advertising as a hidden persuasion understands the hidden motivations of consumers and works at supraliminal level. The people targeted have no awareness of being persuaded. All right, folks. So we have seen that how they were using to create wrong questions. They were using same word, hidden persuasion, subliminal level, hidden motivations, hidden persuasion, motivation. People are aware of being, but people were not aware. You know, they were using subconscious. So they were using the terms which have been used in the piece as have been in the passages filled, but they're incorrect. They're not understanding the actual meaning of it. Now this is how it is. All right, so this is how they create wrong options. All right, everybody. Unacademy subscription offers you live classes. So the plus, if you're a plus student, you will get access to plus courses. And the plus courses will be having live classes. The interaction will be amazing with the educator. You'll be also get an ability to will also give you live polls and leaderboard, and there will be test series and analysis. So test series and analysis are the backbone of any preparation, and you will also get doubt clearing sessions. Every fourth class will be